Jayso is a household name in this industry, from the days of Skillions to Bugga Bugga album by Sark to his own album Making Tasha Proud in 2015, and now to all that he's doing. I think he's putting together another project. I've seen his work with Joey B. I'm sure he'll tell me about what he was doing with Sina, so I guess that they are cooking something as well. And I get to interact with him about the music industry. It's been a while. We spoke when there was a beef between, seeming beef between M.anifest and Sark. Now we are speaking again after a peace conference. I don't know whether we get to touch on that, but it's good to see you, Jayso.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Very, very so.
You're looking great.
Very much so. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
I see you're doing a lot of great things, you know, making Tasha proud.
Yes.
So who is Tasha? I've never had the opportunity to ask.
Yeah, so Tasha is Jayso's biggest fan. I mean, I don't know if that's changed since the last time I did, you know, like we worked on a project, but she's a young lady, not so young right now. She's completed university. She's working now. She's based in the UK. I met her at an event in Ghana, I think around 2010, 2011. We took a picture and that was it. The next thing I know, this account on Twitter is always mentioning my stuff. And I find out that the lady I took
a picture with back then,
that's her, and she wasn't even in uni then, you know, and she's like, I call her Jayso's biggest fan. So making Tasha proud is like it's a thank you to my fans, using Tasha as like the point of focus.
Okay.
So yeah, so making Tasha proud is like making my
fans
proud. Exactly.
Okay, when we're talking about this Tasha, it began to look like, let me ask more, maybe there's
something
more to Tasha that I did not know.
Not at all.
How did that do? That was in 2015. How did you do?
Yes, I mean, that was my debut, my first ever solo project. The reception was amazing. Making Tasha proud has enjoyed a lot of airplay, a lot of, you know, very positive feedback, very positive reviews. So that album is very close to my heart, being that it's my first solo project. So yeah, it's done pretty well in my opinion.
Wow! So from 2015, we are back in 2019. You're putting a lot together.
Yeah. So since 2015, I decided to start dropping some short EPs on my birthday, which is June 1st. Okay. So 3 years ago, I released volume 1 of 0106, which is, so the album title is 0106.
What does that mean?
01 is first,
okay,
06 is June. Yeah, okay. So that's my birthday. So I did the volume 1, did the volume 2, volume 3, just 5-6 songs. But this year, I decided to go all out and release like a full-length album. So I did a 14-track album with 13 songs. Oh. And I did it in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What, so you called that 0106 as well?
0106 volume 4.
Volume 4.
Yeah, so it's the fourth year.
This is the fourth year. Yeah. And that 13th track album,
songs, yeah.
or 14-track album with
13 songs.
So one is an instrumental.
One is an intro.
Oh, okay.
Intro, just talking.
Just talking, you know, pouring your heart out.
Just
what are you talking about the industry? Oh, okay.
No, just thanking people who came together to make the project happen. Yeah.
Okay, so who are these people?
I mean, it's a lot of people. There's Papi Kojo, there's Sina Soul, there's Kwesi Arthur, there's actually a cypher with a bunch of like hip hop artists, rappers, upcoming. It's about 6 of them. So LDZ, Romeo Swag, Kojo Trip, Rafenzi, Delis, Reed, Drago. Like it's one song, but it's a cypher.
Okay,
so a lot of different artists. And yeah, I worked with Kojo Q, Sheka on the album. This lady called Tinuke. I worked with some guys in the UK, Mologo and TJ. Yeah, so 2 weeks I put everything together.
Put everything together.
Yeah.
Before 2 weeks, were some of these songs things that you recorded?
Nothing, zero. So Monday the 13th, I actually tweeted that Monday 13th of May. I tweeted that I don't know if I'm going to do this album because I wasn't inspired. So I tweeted it and it just went viral. Like everyone was like, "Charlie, you for do them," and people started sending me freestyles, stuff, and I was like, you know what? Let me do this.
That must be a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah. So I locked myself in the studio for 2 weeks. Me and this guy here, Prince, who follows me around filming everything. So actually on my Instagram and Twitter, I was putting out videos every day. So let's say today, if within the 2 weeks that I was creating an album, if I came to your show, I'll film it, and then in the morning on today is Friday, so Saturday, I'll release whatever I did on Friday.
Wow.
So people saw the process.
The process.
You know, and it took exactly 2 weeks to finish it.
Wow, congratulations
Thank you very much. Thank you.
In this dispensation where we have a lot of people who you started with going to sleep and you are still
I sleep a lot. I sleep a lot.
But you're not sleeping on the job.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping on the job.
Tell me what your overview now is about music with all the new folks we're having, and you mentioned some names: Sina Soul, Kwesi Arthur. Yeah, what's your overview now?
I think Ghana music is in a great space. We're enjoying a lot of international attention. People are listening to Ghanaian music, be it hip life, be it high life, be it hip hop music, be it hip life music. It's a lot of artists out there who are representing Ghana on a global stage, and I could say that for the first time in a very long time, we can tell that musicians are actually making money from what they do, and they're able to also connect with their fan base and interact with them thanks to social media. So I think generally we're in a great space as musicians. However, when it comes to the system and the industry itself and what it takes to actually have a very effective, efficient industry, I think we are lacking there. But these things are being worked on. So we're hoping that's issues royalties and even PR to marketing to distribution and all these things. I think slowly we're getting there. You're getting there.
Yeah. I asked because a few years ago, you wouldn't think that there'll be a sprout,
right?
Of very
talent. Yeah.
It's amazing how many of them we have just in the system that. Yeah. And sometimes they'll say the problem back then was recording, nobody believed in them, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure they have their peculiar stories, but as a producer, how open have you become to up and coming?
I've always been I've always been someone people reach out to whenever they're on the come up, either for advice or just to share my experience with them. So I've had that privilege or honor, when it comes to meeting a lot of these young budding talents. I've met countless of them, and some of them I actually helped them in the studio to record, mix, master their stuff. When to respond to what you said about just the sudden outburst of talent and stuff, I think it's also partly because there's social media. We're in a digital age. People have access to everything. Now, when musicians release music, it's not. Back in the days, Charlie, you need to be connected. You need to either have a label that's connected to radio and distribution. So it's very difficult for, let's say, me as Jayso starting to have access to MzGee or have access to DJ Black. It's difficult, or even have to know where your fans are. You can't tell. Now with social media, it's different. People put out music and immediately they know who their fans are. Immediately they know in terms of the insights, they even know the ratio, the female and the male audience who is really listening to their music. The figures, because it's digital, you are actually able to gauge and mold your career around these figures that you are receiving to improve your brand or to further push your music. So the digital age has had a huge impact on that. I can be on Twitter, I can wake up in the morning, go on Twitter, and some underground rapper has mentioned me. And it's Twitter, I don't have a choice, I'll see it. And if it looks interesting, I will listen to it. And if I'm really interested, I might even reach out to the person so we collaborate. So that is what is happening now. A lot of musicians are interacting with each other on social media, connecting, making music. Recording studios are no longer those huge buildings with so many equipment. Now a recording studio is just a laptop, a sound card, a microphone, and you are good to go. You know what I mean? So then?
Well, because you made mention of that, let's just talk about the recording studios not being huge buildings. Couldn't it be the reason for people saying that now we are not getting quality?
It's partly that, because now with the access, what happens is people just, like I said, they go with the bare minimum, like laptop, cheap sound card, some cheap microphone, and it's like, that's it. But there are also people who understand the job, who can use that same one laptop, probably have a very decent microphone, very good sound card, and produce quality music. You know, so it's really when you don't know the business, or you don't understand the job of like an engineer, you haven't really learned it. What happens is you do the wrong thing. Your sound is going to come out, excuse me to say, trash, because you haven't really taken your time to study it. You know, people, a lot of the music we hear is coming from people that teach themselves, or they go on the internet, grab tutorials and try and learn how to do things. And some people have excelled at it. Some people are just not good at it. So yes, it's just having access and all that. What it creates also is that anyone can just download the software, create a beat and put it out there and think, Charlie, it's good to go. Yeah, so it's definitely affected the quality of music. It's definitely affected it.
How do you make money? I hardly have heard them say, oh, Jayso is headline for a show, or he's playing a gig here and all that. How do you make money?
Yeah, I've for a while now, like I've performing. No, I don't really want to be on stage for a while now. Back then, yes, but now, no. I mean, from the music, I make money off like my royalties, of production.
Royalties here in Ghana?
Not here in Ghana, no.
Definitely.
Not here in Ghana.
I would have been surprised to hear that.
Yeah, so on the music side, that's how I make money. It's pretty.
You get royalties from where?
Any territory where my music is playing abroad, like from the UK, from the US, from South Africa, wherever the music is playing.
Is that where your core fans are, or people who really like your kind of music are?
Online, like, okay, so back home, I would say that when we put out music, I have the biggest fan base in Ghana, obviously, because when I put out music, the numbers, it's spread across. Like, we don't have now we have Uptown, so yes, we can gauge. But back then, when you put your music out, what happens is all these pirates, you know, they just grab it, put it on their blogs, and they generate so many numbers, but we don't have access to those numbers. So we can't tell where the numbers are coming from, you know, because the platforms are not run by us. However, on our official platforms, I know that my #1 fan base is not Ghana, it's US. You know, like the recent album I put out, most of the numbers is US first, the UK second. Ghana is always like 3rd or 4th, because a lot of Ghanaians are not on those platforms. They are not on Spotify, Apple Music. It's rather people abroad who have access to those. So back home, if we had a platform that we could also measure when we put our music out and the fans actually go to these platforms to listen to our music.
There's Boomplay.
Yes, there's Boomplay, exactly. So but you see, a lot of people don't go to those platforms. They will easily go to an Audio Mac or Ghana Nyom or all these places to download the music, you know, which don't help. It doesn't help us, the musicians. So it's actually something that's in the works. We're trying to talk to people to let them understand that, look, you don't lose anything by putting Jayso's official link there. Your audience will still have access to the music. But when I put out a song on Apple Music or wherever, and you strip it and then put it out there on your place for free, and when you go on their sites, you realize that they are advertising. Like, they advertise for people. Like, I've seen big corporate people advertising on these websites, which is terrible, because most of them don't have the consent of like the owners of the content that they are putting up. So it's something that we need to really work on, to let them understand that you have the audience, that is great, but it's very easy for you to just put Jayso's embedded code for SoundCloud on your website, and they will still be able to play, download, but the difference now is that the numbers will reflect on my side. So I will know where but when they do that, it's like we can't control it.
So online is where you get your money.
Well, yeah, from the streams, from the sales, from the royalties, etc. But you know, I have other businesses that I do, so
And you produce
it's not
as
my
well,
main.
so
Yes,
does production give you money?
music production,
Yeah.
or video.
No, music production.
Yeah, I mean,
Do they
I
pay?
do more partnerships than like taking money to produce music for
Because
people.
I hear musicians hardly pay.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Charlie, they themselves, you know, they're struggling. So it makes more sense when you like if you're able to partner. So if you're a young upcoming producer, I always advise that look for an artist who is also on the come up, so you can both build together. So
Is that
when
what you
he's
did with
making
Sark,
money,
yeah?
exactly. Like when he's making money, you're also making money. So Sark's first album, it wasn't really a partnership, but it was more of me helping, you know, someone that I felt was really, really talented. So it wasn't a partnership. But the second album was more of a partnership because we planned it like, you know, let's do this album, let's, you know. So, I mean, there's money in production if you understand the business.
Do you still produce for Sark?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you
The
still
last
have,
project, the last project was
do you
the
work
highest.
on Alpha?
No, I didn't. The last project was the highest
The
project.
highest.
That project drained me. Like, it was very stressful. Like, producing, you know, and executive producing that project was really tough. So after that project, I've been kind of on a low. I dropped this project. I've been doing stuff for some other artists, younger artists. But we will get to that.
You get to that. I only asked because now that he's making money, I
Yeah.
hope that you've made money as well.
I don't know Sark's.
No, but
I
because
don't
you said
know,
that
but-
once the
but-
person begins to make money, you also get some money. So I'm wondering if you're making money.
Well, it's dependent on the project. So Sark is an artist on his own. He has his own label. So whatever he does is him. If we come together to do a project,
Okay.
then that is different. So if, let's say, like the highest project is
A
me and
collaboration?
him, it's not.
Or is it
I'm not being
partnership?
paid. Yeah, I'm not being paid to do anything. I'm actually rather investing. So it's like me investing money to do a project with you, and then the proceeds we will
So
split,
you own
split
rights
the proceeds.
to the highest?
Yeah, absolutely.
What percentage?
I can't tell you that.
I knew you were not going to say
can't
that.
tell you
But the last time we spoke, in 2016, when I visited you at the studio,
Right.
you talked about having M.anifest's album with you. Has it come for that?
What was that?
You don't
We
remember?
hadn't put out the
No,
album.
he said he was recording an album with you.
Yeah, that
And-
was the Nowhere Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it out?
Yeah, Nowhere Cool. is
No,
out.
no, but he said there was one he was working, or it was Nowhere Cool. I thought you said there was one he was working with you currently, and he hadn't
Yeah,
finished.
that's his last album. Nowhere Cool.
Okay, so now it's
Yeah,
out.
recorded,
so
yeah.
he came for it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some jabs online and all that, so I've been wondering the kind of
I don't know the
relationship.
period. I don't remember when you came for that interview.
2016, when there was,
Is that the Kanta?
yeah.
Oh, that album. Had he put out the album? He had. No.
Yeah,
no,
because
no.
he said there
he
was-
dropped
you were still working
the
on that
God
project.
MC. Yeah, true. So the album was not out yet, but I think that he released the album like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that interview.
after
yeah.
that. But what
I
you see,
remember he hadn't come for the
he hadn't
for
come
the
for,
masters.
yeah, that's what you said to me.
True.
So
true.
what's the relationship now?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
We're cool. Like we're cool. It's
Because I saw that you said that he's got MC in his pocket.
that's from last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah, see, listen, when it comes to rap, yeah, like, yeah, certain issues, certain personal issues, etc. And we are rappers, so we address whatever we want to address through our music, right? But on the other side, the thing is, you see, with me and M.anifest, like, we're actually friends. You understand? We're actually
who's
friends.
more of your friend?
It's
Sark
not
or
like
your M.anifest?
this question. It's a tough one. They are both my boys.
Because I know
They are both my boys.
it
Like Sark, I've known Sark for a while. Like I've known him for a while. So yeah, but M.anifest, I actually like. We used to hang. You know what I mean? Like we roll. He visits, I visit. We hang. You know. So it's a very. I don't know what to place when it comes to like who I've known like, you know, longer or longest, and it's like who I'm like I chill with, etc. It's dicey. I think maybe it's equal, but M.anifest, I would say that like we actually chill.
You still do that?
We chill. No, not.
What
We haven't.
changed?
The last time I saw him was funny. I saw him at the airport.
What changed?
Charlie, it's see, to me, right, that whole the music stuff and whatever we're talking about, etc., is just like it's a phase. It's stuff that, you know, happened. I had to address my side. He did what he did, but Charlie, we're men. We're men. We keep it moving. Like, we keep it moving. A lot of the talk and a lot of the controversies, and sometimes the fans and the media people, like, they like to feed into stuff and fuel things, and like, but sometimes not even that.
So he took it beyond what?
Who? No, I said the fans. I said rather.
So
the fans and the media.
If the fans and the media are the problem, then you couldn't have been seeing him at the airports if you
No,
used to roll like that.
I'm not saying they are the problem. I'm saying that sometimes, right?
So it means that the conversation didn't go well.
When musicians, right, say certain things, or we communicate certain things through our music, and we say certain things, sometimes, I'm saying the media folk sort of eat into it and pick things and highlight things and put them in caps and throw it out there, and it looks like something else. And sometimes it's not really that.
But
like,
how did that?
I'll give you an example. We did an interview, yeah? And I was on the phone, and I said something like, I think you asked the question about Walasi. You said, how do I think, why is Sark working with Walasi and his M.anifest boy? It's like, what's going on with that? Because there's a song with Walasi on. And then I said, Walasi is an independent artist, right? He's free to, you know, work with whoever he wants to work with. When we finished the interview, a few minutes later, I go on Twitter and I see a headline, Walasi is nobody's small boy or something. Like, I've forgotten the caption. And I was like, I didn't even say that. But when the fans read that, they think, oh, snap, Jayso go talk this thing. I can give so many examples. So sometimes I feel like certain like captions and certain headlines that are used, it fuels some type of energy that sometimes it's not even the case.
Is that the case between you and M.anifest? Because that's what I'm deducing.
I think that there was a lot of, like, you know, people coming at me on social media, insulting me, people insulting him, and it's, but I guess it's because they don't understand the story. They don't understand what is really going on. And when people are diehard fans, they don't care. They don't even try. They're not even trying to listen to logic or trying to figure out, okay, what happened here? Who started this and why was me? You know me. I'm like I'm not one to even try and delve into like certain things. You know what I mean? I would only put out material or say certain things if I feel like it has to be said, or someone is creating some misconception, or someone is trying to put out a lie, or people don't really understand what is going on. So I'll just put in a message or whatever to let people realize that it's not what they think it is.
So
it's
basically,
else,
it affected your relationship with
No, of
M.anifest.
course, of course.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. If he had,
because
if you used to roll like that and you see him at the airport, it means that you're not rolling like that anymore. So it has affected your relationship with him. But then I've heard.
But we're cool.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
I've heard
cool.
I've heard somebody like Medical say that if he doesn't shade Sark in the song, it never hits.
Really?
Well, I saw it on the internet, and I just thought to take your view before you quickly go.
That's the thing. I don't feed into stuff like that.
Like,
I don't agree. I don't agree, and I don't feed into it. The thing is, whatever is going on between them, whatever they're trying to generate, I do not know.
What are you trying to generate?
You see, here, let me tell you something. Sometimes, right? Sometimes, I'm not saying this as a matter of fact. Sometimes people can actually come together and plan stuff like this just for like publicity. So you would end up looking like a fool trying to feed into it, talking about, oh, why is this person saying, why is it bad? And behind the scenes, maybe that they're even planning it. So you even come out looking like the funny guy. You know what I mean? So I try not to feed into stuff like that. For me, I will only address what I feel like I need to address and talk about. Apart from that, I do not care about so many things that's going on. I just stay in my lane and do my thing. Like, that's it for me.
That's it for you. I introduced the peace concert in my conversation. I haven't seen musicians being with some of them. The Skillions, you're a bunch of good artists. All of you have gone your separate ways.
Yeah, there's no beef between us.
No, I never said so.
Yeah.
I never said so.
You see, that's the thing. We're boys. We understand. EL is doing his thing. Like, Shaker is doing his thing. Everyone is doing. But then at the end of the day, we're boys.
Now, are you going to ever come back together to do some project?
It's very possible.
Have you thought about it? Have you spoken about it?
We have spoken about it several times. It's very possible.
It's very possible. How soon?
That one I can't tell. But it's very possible.
Very possible.
Hopefully before I chop 40.
How old are you now?
I can't tell you. I'm 36, by the way.
Oh,
it's on Google, so
before 40, that's like 4 years. Within 4 years, you're supposed to do that. But I spoke about the peace concerts and all that had happened in the industry. What do you make of, the initiative from all that happened during the awards? I'm asking you because you've been with two artists who fans think that they are beefing and threw jabs at themselves. Now they don't do that anymore. Maybe when there's a need, they will start again. But threw jabs at themselves on social media and all that.
I think, see, there's healthy competition and there's unhealthy competition. It is healthy when you keep it on wax and you are not crossing certain lines. If I say certain things, I know why I'm saying them. I know sometimes I know how the person behind or on the receiving end is going to receive it. So I'm very, very, I think about those things before I put them out. Sometimes I even check with people to make sure, okay, is this line okay or whatever. But the thing is, when it's healthy, it's okay. But when certain lines are crossed and it's like, it turns into something else and people are beginning to fight and it turns physical and all that, then it's a problem. And there's one other issue that I've sort of even come to understand when it comes to these things, these exchanges. Sometimes not even between the artists, it can be between the fans. So Jayso fans, MzGee fans, because they understand that or they know that there is this issue between us, they're on social media fighting each other, exchange insults, etc., etc. And that thing could easily escalate into physical violence. It could easily turn into that, especially if these two fans, when they clash somewhere, it can turn into something else. And then probably what they don't know is in the background, I'm chatting with you, we're cool, we talk, we vibe, but they don't know that. So sometimes it's important for us to let people understand and educate our fans to let them know that it's not always that, if it's personal, you can let people know that, Charlie, you don't mess with someone. There's nothing wrong with it. But to the point where you sit back and the fans are fighting each other and dissing each other and insulting, when it gets to that point, for me, it's it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. If you keep it music and understand that, okay, it's lyricism. Oh, this guy said this line. It's yawa. This guy said this line. The beat. You keep it there on the, constructive stuff. If it stays there, it's fine. But when it starts, excuse me to say, you start insulting people's families and stuff who have nothing to do with what is going on, then it turns into something else.
Why Sinner Soul and why Joey B though?
Papi.
Papi.
They are two of my favorite musicians in Ghana.
Really?
Yeah. Papi is an amazing guy. Put music aside, he's an amazing energy. So Papi is someone I really like him. We play a lot of games online. He's my guy. Sina is like my little sister. She's also amazing vocalist. So definitely, if I'm going to work on a project, I'm going to work with them. I've
been stuck saying really because Papi is one of the people say, oh yeah, SS rapper. I'm sure you've heard that. People have. Well,
are you his
Fancy Van Damme for a lot of people to be rapping to senior secondary school?
No. That's not true.
Students.
And I mean, MzGee, senior secondary school student. It shouldn't be this. It shouldn't be bad. That's a huge fan base. Presec alone, the school is 3,000-4,000 people. So if you have that kind of fan base, these are the same people who are going to finish SS and move to the tertiary level. And it's the same people who are going to move from the tertiary to the working class. So having that type of fan base, for me, it's even a big deal. To be able to have that kind of fan base, it's crazy. And if you notice, they are trendsetters, not just even with the music, but even in the style. Certain things they wear, you notice that whatever they do becomes the trend with the youth, like the young ones, the people in high school and stuff. So that's very powerful. So rather, I think we should encourage artists like that to, to be very careful when it comes to their brand and what they do, because they really have the kids. They have like Papi, Joey, they have the kids. They have them.
Anyway, thank you, Jayso, for hanging out with us here.
Always a pleasure.
We are grateful. Today, not a lot of controversies, so you're free.
You tried it. You tried it.
But you used plenty grammar.
You tried it.
You used plenty grammar, so you've gone away with you swear plenty. But thanks for joining us, and definitely we'll get to enjoy those tracks. Do you have videos?
Yes, it's out.
Are the videos?
Not yet. It's just a visualizer for one of the songs, Go On Now, featuring J. Dorobi.
Okay.
That one is out. But
yeah, that's what do you make of that young talent?
I
just saw a write-up that Convict wants to sign him. I'm not too sure.
Mind blowing. He deserves it all. Like, that guy is really going to put Ghana on the map.
People say he doesn't have a personality of a superstar.
He doesn't need to. When you listen to him, it's all it takes. Just listen to the boy, and it will change. What you just mentioned is like, it's looks. It's image. Those things can be fixed like this. That is even if they need to be fixed. But J. Dorobi, watch out for that boy.
Thank you, Jayso.
Yeah. Remember, I told you this, J. Dorobi. I told you when they will play back this video. J. Dorobi, he's taking Ghana to places. Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll get to see what happens. Jayso's prophecy for J. Dorobi.
Hey, prophecy style.
Thank you very much for joining us, and always a pleasure hanging out with you.